Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Place Further Than the Universe, episodes 12 and 13, the finale, the final two episodes of the series. This has been a longer journey than expected because of that big old break there. But we're finally ready to get back into this. We're finally ready to finish this, I should say. We are here. It's been a good journey. It's not been perfect. There's been some moments where I just wasn't into it, like last week. But I'm excited to get to see how this ends. Because there's a lot of things that I feel like need to still be touched on with the mom and various other things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it ends very well. And in the afterthoughts, I can tell you what I plan to replace this with. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But for now, we're just going to get this started. Not really much else to talk about. We're just going to see how this journey comes to its end. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This series clearly isn't, like, one of my necessarily favorites. It's not like as good or exciting as stuff like One Piece or JoJo or My Hero Academia or anything like that. But it doesn't need to be. This series, I feel, forged its own identity. It did exactly what it needed to do and gave us something that was wholesome, likable, and lovely. It gave us something that is emotional and powerful and meaningful. A story about friends and family and finding your place. And that's all this needed to be. A good, wholesome story that didn't need to be super exciting or super, heavy or just over the top with its visuals. It did, again, just exactly what it needed to. And it ended out in a very satisfying, beautiful way. And I've said it in the previous reactions, but Shirase is the true main character of this. Even though it starts and ends off with Kimari, or whatever her name is. I'm not great with the names in this series. Even though it starts and ends off with her, Shirase is the main character. Shirase is the star. And she found, in the end, her place further than the universe. She found proof, evidence of her mother being there. She found what she needed to move on. Because she hadn't done so. And in doing so, though, now, she was able to help the captain move on as well. She was able to forge friendships that will last forever, and that have given her her own place further than the universe. Not in the Antarctic, but wherever she is with her friends. And that's what this story is trying to tell us. That it doesn't matter where this place may be, it's about who you're with. It's about what you're doing. The experiences and those you share them with are more important than the location itself. Antarctica wasn't her mother's place further than the universe. It was going there with her team. It was the experience of working with that team, with her friends. And now Shirsei found that for herself. And they all found their goals as well. They achieved what they wanted to do, even if it wasn't always what they thought they wanted to do. And everybody ended out well. There wasn't even any final conflict or anything. Like most series you see will have some kind of big conflict that has to be resolved. Just to have that, but this didn't really have that. There was some conflicts early on in the story with getting on this expedition, but after that there wasn't really any major conflict. There was only these little small things like getting motion sickness and whatnot, things that were resolved in an episode that weren't really a huge conflict, but rather just part of the journey, as they said. I through watching this, I was wondering if when they got there, if they were going to end up getting stuck in a snowstorm or something. But no, the show didn't go that route. There was no major conflict because that's not what this series was trying to do. It was trying to say something, trying to send a message. And it felt, and the people who created this felt that they could send that message across better without conflict. And I think that's good. I think that's smart. Throughout this series, it's Hinata started off as my favorite character, but it very quickly became Shirsei. She has so much depth to her, and even just the symbolism in her cutting her hair in the end was great. It was a just really big moment showing her evolution as a character from the beginning of this to the end. And I still love Hinata. She was fun, she was sassy, she was quirky. And Yuzu was really nice, really cutesy. Definitely had that little bit of influencer knowledge to her, but was also just kind of the awkward one, just trying to be friends with everyone. And of course our sort of main character, the one who is clearly trying to be shown as the main character even though she's not, Kimiri, just the high energy ball of fun. And all of them just went from not even knowing each other to the best of friends in the end. And that little bit at the end with Kimiri's friend ending up going to the Arctic too that was really fucking cute. I really liked that. But with as wholesome and cute and fun as this series was, I think that it was a little saccharine for me. And I think that's why sometimes it felt hard for me to get through it. Because it's so much wholesomeness, it's so much cuteness. And I'm glad I got through it. I'm very happy that I watched this to the end. But it's definitely something that I really need to move away with for this time slot. And I want to go on to something that's very different from this. And so I was trying to think, because there's a few things on my list, a few things I've been meaning to get to. It's like, okay, which am I going to go with next? And it's like, the answer just kind of clicked with me when thinking about it, when thinking like, okay, I don't want the next series to just be a lot more of the wholesome stuff. I want to take a break from that here. So I thought, like, what could be the best choice in that regard? And then it hit me. It's, as Sherlock Holmes would say, it's elementary. But another way of putting that would be it's child's play. Yes, we're finally getting to Chucky. We did a first impressions reaction to the first episode of the Chucky series, and now we're going to get to the rest of it. This has been something I've been wanting to get to. This is very different. It's not a wholesome series. It's a horror series, a slasher horror series with some supernatural elements. This is something I've been wanting to get to, and it was kind of between this or Watchmen, since both were ones I did a first impressions reaction for. But I did Chucky first, so I thought, like, we should probably get to that first. So yeah, I think it's a good point to get to that. And I'm excited to see more of that, because the first episode was actually really good. It was surprisingly good. A lot better than I was expecting, if I'm being honest. So I'm very much excited to get to that starting next week. Probably only end up doing one episode a week for that, but you never know. We'll see how it goes. I don't even know how many episodes it is offhand. But we'll talk more about that when we get to it. So yeah. Either way, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of A Place Further Than the Universe? Of not only these last two episodes, but the series as a whole, and just how everything wrapped up together in the end. And let me know how excited you are for the Chucky reaction series coming next week. For now, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.